just do it that way. It's the old-fashioned way. It kind of works.
So
I want to kick this off. You want to do the intro real quick
Yeah, I'll do
before I go into some...
SmashCastBros, keep it local, keep it cash, tell the feds to kiss your ass. I'm Ty.
I'm Moo.
I'm Trigger.
Professor.
Nick.
And smash that like button, smash that share button, whatever. Subscribe, comment. Give us some love. Fuck your hate.
So, I've been seeing a lot of videos this week about London has a vandalism problem going on right now. There are some taxation cameras
Oh, yeah.
that keep getting cut down. Did you guys look into what those cameras are all about?
Tracking people.
No, not quite. Kind of tracking people.
It's keeping them corralled in their area.
No.
You're out of your... No? What is it?
It is for London's ultra-low emissions zone. So, to clear the air
Giving
in
off emissions
central
right
London,
now.
to clear the air in central London, they put up these cameras that track when cars come and go because they need front and rear plates. Thank God we don't have front plates because they are horrifically ugly on a car.
Well, Michigan was talking about it.
Texas requires it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of states
So does
require
Ohio.
it.
Illinois.
Thank God we don't because it just ruins the front of the car.
It does.
So cars up to including 3.5 tons, minibuses, a passenger van, up to 5 tons qualify for it. If your vehicle is too old, if your car doesn't meet the standards, they charge you €12.50 or €12.50 per day to drive in that zone. Even if you just pass through quickly, or if you spend all day in it. €12.50 or $13.38 per day, except for Christmas.
So, like the Woodland Mall might be in one of these zones. You want to go shopping, it's going to cost you an extra $13.33
Or you work
a
there.
day.
Or you work there, you're going to pay an extra $13.33 a day to go there.
Or you want to go down to Michigan State during school session and oogle chicks.
And you had to pass through.
You
one
pay
of
the
those
booty
zones.
tax.
Yep.
Yep.
You know what the solution to that is? Instead of cutting down cameras, EVs.
Hold on. Let me take this a step
Chop
further.
the fucking poles off like they're doing.
Heavier vehicles, so heavier cars, buses, semis, real buses,
Or anything Moody's riding in.
pay 100 to 300 euros a day.
Which is equivalent to
$107 to $321 a day.
$107.
$107 for a semi that meets
Per vehicle.
per day. Per vehicle per day.
So you think about
if there's a parcel company out there and they're in there with like 60 fucking trucks
Yep.
trying to deliver their DHLs and shit.
Keep that in mind with your shipping costs. Now, let me take that a step further. London, central London, also has a congestion charge that is 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., 13 hours a day. No, 11 hours a day, sorry. Monday through Friday. And 12 noon to 6 p.m. over the weekend.
Congestion.
Only exemption is Christmas Day to New Year's bank holiday.
so
whatever
it
bank
sounds
holiday.
Sounds like
Most of the
work rush, morning and afternoon, and lunch rush.
it's all day.
Okay.
Monday through Friday, it's all day.
So you only have to pay it once per day, but it's 15 euros a day or $16 a day. If you don't pay it by midnight on the third day, it's 17.50 euros or $18.73.
What about, in their terms, their city lorries, their buses? What about if the cities, they got to be exempt, right?
Nope. It's built into the budget.
But it's
You're paying for it.
I will say this though, from the American standpoint, we're thinking about how far we have to travel on a regular basis. I mean, we have a regular commute, 15 minutes to a half an hour. These guys, they take the train. The trains are still huge in Europe. I mean, you got to think, public buses, everything's so congested there as it is. Housing is right up against itself. There is no backyard. There is no space between your neighbor's porch and yours. I mean, if you sneeze, you're sneezing on your neighbor's door handle.
Sounds like that's a really good place for Bill Gates to go live.
If you look at it multiple different ways, tell me, how many times have you seen a 3/4 ton truck in any video from England?
Exactly.
A 1 ton
They don't
dually
fit on
truck.
the street.
They don't fit on the
Yeah.
streets.
How often do you see anybody pulling a camper in England? Motherfucker,
Dude,
I can leave Ionia and make it to Muskegon, and I've already driven further than it is across that fucking country.
Well, okay.
Americans
so-
are famous for spending a shitload of money to live like we're poor and go camping. You two
So-
especially.
Yeah.
so
You
there's
guys
a-
buy the campers. You guys go do the camping thing.
There's a saying that in America, what is it? In Europe, 100 miles is a long distance. In America, 100 years is a long time. Because I've heard stories basically out of England where they don't go see family members because they live too far away, and it's a 45-minute drive.
Yeah, there's
we
a,
make a
I
45-minute drive just to
I
go
drive
get
half
food.
an hour to go to work.
I'll drive 45 minutes just to find something off Marketplace.
Yep.
You'll go longer than that for a dead
Oh,
side.
dead side.
Exactly, and I will.
I mean, and so really, who is this affecting? I mean, obviously somebody's getting something out of cutting these cameras down, but
Well,
Oh.
who's rich enough to afford a car in England? I think that's who it's really affecting.
yeah.
I mean, do I still think, from my very closed-minded American mindset, do I still think any liberty being taken away is worth the extra income? No, I think there's different ways to go about it. I mean, sorry to you, Trigger, but I think you should tax the hell out of cigarettes. I think they should be taxing the hell out of pot. But I think taxing somebody's freedom to drive across the state or the country or whatever.
Oh, well, while we're on that, let's go into gas tax.
Yes.
I'm not going to disagree with you. Tax the hell out of cigarettes.
I'm
But
guilty.
if
I
I
smoke
grow
too.
my own tobacco,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you don't
go
get to
for it.
fucking touch it.
You can't tax
You
that.
guys make your own fucking moonshine to drink for your alcohol? Can't touch it.
What is
but
it
if you're
called?
buying it,
here
Toilet
comes
wine.
the ATF.
Luxury tax.
yep,
It's the luxury of the convenience of having it already done for you.
yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to drive 10 hours in a week and a half and never leave Michigan.
What? Oh, you going
Copper
out?
Harbor.
Well, I was curious about it. Cigarette tax in Michigan is $2 a pack. So 10
I
cents
actually
a
thought it was
stick.
$2.30 a pack, but okay.
Yeah, it's
2
in the
cents a
ballpark.
cancer stick. $2 a pack. So
You know how much I pay for a pack of cigarettes?
You smoke Camel?
$8-9?
Camel
Royal
Turkish
Reds.
Royal.
Yeah, Turkish Royals.
How much does the pack cost?
$9.
So it costs $7.
Dude, you
You're a
smoke
pack
like
a
a
day?
tire fire.
Wait, are you a pack a day, man?
Yep.
Pack and a half?
Cost me $9 a day to smoke cigarettes.
It's going to cost you more than that in fucking cancer.
When I was running more, I would smoke 2 packs a day. When I had nothing to do between graduating high school and getting in the military, I smoked 4 packs a day. I would smoke cigarettes from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. I would light my first cigarette in my bed, and I would light every cigarette after that off of the cigarette I finished.
That's a fucking tire
You got
fire.
a problem.
But my wife...
That's a
puts on
cool-
You,
Kuwaiti.
you still smoke?
Occasionally, socially.
Ty, that's a Kuwaiti tire fire.
My
Holy
wife cuts
shit,
on me
dude.
because within 5 to 10 minutes of me waking up in the morning, I have to be outside standing in the driveway smoking.
Yeah.
I don't smoke in my house.
No, I don't smoke
But
in my car, and I don't
I-
smoke in my house.
And I smoke in my car. I don't have a problem with that. It's my fucking car and nobody
My
else.
skin is
Dude.
smoking right now.
I am tempted to buy an old Cadillac so I can smoke a cigar in it while I drive. Because
But
it's an
also
old
the other
Cadillac.
fact is
I believe you would.
Same way
You
with
grew a
Mountain Dew.
fucking mullet and bought a Z28.
Oh, aren't you due for a license here soon?
Oh yeah, I got some ideas for that, but we're gonna keep that off of here until it's done.
But
I'll tell you off air.
okay.
It's bad. Nick knows.
Oh, well, don't let us forget. As I was talking about the Olites earlier, I'm sorry, I'm going to butt in for a minute. They're having a big sale starting 7/1. So if you want anything, I'm going to look to see what the Arcfield Pro is going for.
They
7/1.
have a mini that
The
if you,
regular one.
like take the plug off the end. It's a USB port.
Oh, I've
So
seen
you
that.
plug it
Yeah,
in.
I've seen that. I got a bunch of the mini ones already. But do you have any Olites?
No.
I might give you one
I
for your
would
leave.
like to get some.
I got the little ones. Dude, the little ones are fucking awesome.
I gave one away when I was camping.
Here,
Sometimes
this is my carry. at work.
sometimes little has big power, okay?
That's what I've heard.
It's the motion of the ocean.
That's my carry at work.
The little green one so he can find his wiener.
Press and hold the light button.
Yeah, see, I've been looking for a good pen light. The only thing I could find was Harbor Freight. Like, if you Google pen light,
Hey.
you don't find... I couldn't find that crap.
Streamlight, Olight. I also like Streamlight. They make a
This
good
works
pen
great
light.
for what we do.
Yeah. And that's what I've been looking for. I just want something I can
And
fit
then,
in my little
When you
pocket.
come back to the office, I can check to see if you've been under a desk.
Well,
Or if you're like Ty, no, you got to unload that one right there. Unload that one.
obviously,
That one. Okay, there.
obviously I
Well,
can't call
no,
names out.
you're doing
but
it wrong. That's good over there.
From my hammock.
What you really got to do is look out for the wore out toes on boots, and you'll know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know you're not.
Okay, back to what we were talking about. But like I said, the sale's coming up, so.
I also did some research about nuclear energy.
You mean fluffy bunny energy?
Fluffy bunny energy.
If we change the name of it to something fun, actually, Dollar's the one that pointed this
Well, okay.
topic out to me.
It's like
a while back.
AR-15, big black scary gun.
So
Yeah, I mean when you name something
Assault rifle.
Fuck off. And a goddamn assault rifle, you
So,
fuck.
like, I did research about a couple things, including hydrogen power fuel cell cars, hydrogen fuel cell cars, and there's not many good ways to generate hydrogen. But
Motherfucker, there's rivers and lakes everywhere.
hold on, that's electrolysis. So I did some research on the Palisades over in South Haven, the nuclear power plant
Okay.
that they're,
Smell that.
they're
Indecisive
talking about
of it. Yeah.
redoing or whatever. So
That one's made.
electrolysis is
It tastes way better than.
It
I know what
is
electrolysis
sweet.
is. I have
It
an
is
electrolysis tank on my back deck.
so
Watch his face.
diabetes.
That is sugar water.
That is fucking awesome, isn't it?
There's no liquor in this.
Yeah, there is.
Just sugar water.
That is.
Give him that Captain Watermelon.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to go on record and say they're trying to liquor me up, and I don't know why yet.
You know the worst part about a colonoscopy, right?
This one isn't open
Feeling
yet. We
both the
have it
doctor's
open.
hands on your shoulders.
Scratch the bottle.
Scratch the bottle, really good.
Where?
Do you have
Anywhere.
one where the seal's not?
Scratch it.
Seal is broken.
There's one over there in the box that I opened up a while back.
Yeah.
Is this
It's
the-
a scratch and sniff
This is the
label.
one that inspired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that smells.
I gotta have one
wonderful.
opener under
There is one. There's one in the box open over there. It's one I've been drinking. Wherever
So,
the box went.
So I did some research on the Palisades and electrolysis. So electrolysis, you put electricity into water and it
find
separates oxygen and hydrogen into two separate tanks. So it's 70 to 80% efficiency. So 55 kilowatt hours of electricity turns 9 tons of water into 8 tons of hydrogen and 1 ton of hydrogen and 8 tons of oxygen, pure oxygen.
Frosty cold, Sprite, and that.
It just tastes like a Jolly Rancher.
1 ton of oxygen can power a hydrogen car 31 to 62 miles, which is a lot less than I would have thought for a ton of hydrogen, a
Now-
metric ton of hydrogen.
Wasn't there a
pretty
gentleman
bad.
that had vented an engine that ran on hydrogen and then very quickly thereafter went missing?
No, they poisoned him.
Committed suicide.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's been in the last 2 months.
Well,
No.
no, not Tesla. Toyota came up with an engine that has a tank of liquid hydrogen, compressed liquid hydrogen in the car, and they would aerate it and feed it into the engine so it burns and sounds like a normal gas engine, so you still get the sound, but the only emission would be water,
Distilled water.
basically. So basically I found out the Palisades nuclear plant generates 550,000 megawatt hours a month at full operation. That's the low end, by the way.
Stanley Meyer invented it back years ago, and then they poisoned him.
That could generate 10 million metric tons of hydrogen and 80 million metric tons of oxygen.
And then we could ship all that fresh water to Africa.
No, it's not water at that point.
Okay.
It's air. But,
When you put it through an engine, it turns into water.
yeah.
Wow, oh, that's
So in a month, that in a month, that power plant could produce, through electrolysis, enough oxygen for 10 days for all Michigan residents. Just the air it produces. Fuck all the trees, fuck the algae. That's just that plant.
So in
Plus
one day, it
the
can
fact
produce
that the
10
algae
days.
and the trees and all that is still giving
No,
off.
in 1 month, it can
Oh.
produce 10 days worth.
Okay, sorry.
Once
I
our
missed
body-
that.
Never
That's what you
mind.
said.
Never mind what is already there from the trees and the algae. Most of the oxygen in the atmosphere comes from algae.
But you add that much more oxygen, and our bodies get used to
I
it. We're gonna
think
have a hard time going back to
But
the levels that we're at now.
I mean, still, you can compress it for medical uses at the same time.
I may be wrong on this one, but I think it is 80% of breathable oxygen comes from algae.
Yeah.
So
Really?
I mean, the 20% that's left is trees, grass.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Think about how big the ocean is. I mean, you
Yeah,
got.
but there's no algae in the ocean. That's
yes, there is.
yeah. But,
Oh,
the
yeah, there
shitty
is.
lakes around Michigan, there's a bunch.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Well, algae is a lot better at converting it than trees.
But it
are.
does. The water in the ocean moves way too much.
This
The
is kinda like
seaweed-
pine trees. All the pine trees that were standing here, we cut down for this fucking building, they do no good for the environment.
Really?
They do not produce freaking oxygen.
All these
pine trees
hippies
do
that are
that.
out there hugging trees for producing oxygen are doing very little for the
If they really want to help us out or make a point, we
Cut
need,
them
we
down,
need to
make
take
a
their
pond.
face and put it in the algae.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Michigan has 7 million licensed drivers, averaging, by the way, I found out, 14,307 miles a year. So
that's just state of Michigan. Like,
just state of Michigan.
Okay.
But the Palisades, if it was doing electrolysis, would produce enough hydrogen for 260 to 520,000 people per month to drive hydrogen-powered cars. Okay, if we can get more people in hydrogen-powered cars, especially doing that, we'd have more oxygen available for everybody, which no one's going to complain about.
Never going to happen.
Never going to happen because
Big
it's
three.
good for the environment. But
As
you
much
can
as the
also have
Democrats are
hydrogen-
all about taxing us to death for the fucking.
But you could also have hydrogen fuel cell cars, which would also lower the price of gasoline because there's fewer people using it,
Well,
which is why it'll never happen.
also, other
OPEC.
side effects of it is you'd have distilled water coming out the exhaust, going back into the atmosphere, creating rain.
So the left likes to talk about fighting global warming, but what they mean is give us your money, fuck nuclear power, even though it would do a better job of fighting climate change.
and let's make or burn a bunch of fossil fuels to make a bunch of solar panels to make a desert.
Well, the best part is new studies are showing that fossil fuels are technically a renewable resource because it's plant matter that it's decayed. So
I think the issue though.
wells that we thought were dry are starting to fill up again. And it's like, well, now what?
A few years ago, I mean, you go up north to Camping Central or whatever, outside of Baldwin, Luther, those areas up there, all the
See
little
all the freaking
small
crude
lakes,
rolls.
all the small lakes were dry bed all the way across. You could walk. It was just sand. But anyway, Professor didn't come here with an empty book.
Sorry.
No, it's
I had
fine.
a lot of numbers.
Yeah, he does.
It's very dry. But, do the research and find out what's going on. That's how I piss off Trigger with all the tax information.
He
How
loves
about
tax.
pissing off everybody?
So do I. I am a professional pot stirrer.
He sits on tax.
Our bosses complained about it.
So,
I think more than one person has complained about it, but everybody else who doesn't enjoys it. So
an article pop up on my computer at work. It's from the United Liberty. Title is 15 Reasons Why Every American Should Give Up Their Guns Immediately. Immediately.
Speaking of Trigger and Trigger,
who is it? Vermin Supreme that's running for president. He's saying if he'll take away our guns and give us better guns. Is that what you're talking about?
No, you don't need guns. Number 1, reduce gun violence. Less guns, safer communities.
It's not how this is.
No,
we know
no.
that we know how that goes.
Armed society is
All of
polite
Chicago,
society.
all of Illinois, all of fucking.
But there'll be less guns.
Isn't Maine pro gun and they've got low?
Well, no. Speaking of that, Chicago likes to complain about all this gun violence they have. But then they say it's because people are getting it from Indiana. But they won't answer the question. Okay, so why don't we have these problems in Indiana? These are only in Illinois. So why do we have gun violence issues in Illinois, but not in Indiana, where you say they're getting the guns from? Wouldn't it happen there too? But they won't answer that part.
Well,
What's your you want to
but
rip down the list?
if we just ban assault rifle 15s,
14.
oh,
I mean, all the way up 1, 2, 3, all the way to 15, 16.
Yeah.
wait,
Why don't we just go all the way up to 100? Assault rifle 100.
Number 2, decrease suicide rates. Because apparently the only way to end your life is with a gun.
The only media-friendly version.
Yeah, right.
Fuck it.
Somebody.
Wait, hold on. How many bodies have they found at the bottom of the Key Bridge besides the 7 that they couldn't find before?
The problem is what you just said. They're going to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
They sure as fuck have been doing it for centuries without without guns. Period.
Well,
You know,
actually, a little bit on that too. You know, men are more effective at suicide than women. Men have a more inherent, like, built-in violence than women. Like, women will do it kind of half-ass, kind of as a plea for help.
Yep.
Men will fucking do it right.
Well, I mean,
Women do it for the attention.
Women will,
You
like,
know why the men
pop
do
a
it
bunch
right
of-
is because the women are sitting there bitching at them. You better fucking do this right.
Well, women will pop a bunch of pills. They'll have a really rough sleep, and they'll wake up feeling like shit, and it's a suicide attempt. Men will fucking hang themselves where there is no going back.
Or they'll use their assault
Or
rifle 15s.
Yeah.
No, hold on.
They'll shoot themselves in the back
many-
of the head because they have information about Boeing.
We all know the answer to this.
Double tap.
We all know the answer to this. How many people have on a gun suicide? What's the more popular option, a pistol or a rifle?
Well, hold on. This
if
is
your
not saying rifles.
if you
This is
are
saying
a,
guns.
hold on.
I know,
if you
but
are a rock star,
We're picking on the AR-15.
if you're a rock star, it's a shotgun.
He's a pretty good aim. Dave Mustaine was asked about, what do you think of Kurt Cobain? Well, he's a pretty good aim.
Pretty good shot.
He's very good at painting.
I know, it was a pretty good shot.
He was good at painting once.
So is somebody else.
All right, number 3.
Well, hold on.
Well, the other guy-
He wasn't good, which is why.
Hold on. The other guy painted the inside of a tank, didn't he? Or was it a bunker?
I think, I don't know.
Dozer.
No. The one that shares a birthday with his old lady.
Oh.
My second favorite Austrian.
9.
Number 3, improve public safety. Because once everyone turns in their guns, we're all safer.
Yeah.
Except the criminals don't turn them in.
Weird. You mean
I know.
Wait.
The outlaws
hold on.
don't
Wait a
turn
sec-
in their guns?
You're going to
Once
tell
again-
me that criminals don't obey the law?
Some of it. It's almost like it'd be smarter to make murder illegal instead of guns.
No.
Cars kill people every day. Ban cars.
Spoons make me have diabetes. Ban spoons. I don't have diabetes yet.
Dave's still young.
It got real quiet there for a second.
Because there's so many instances where we're all mulling them over. McDonald's made you fat.
Subway made Jared a pedophile. Don't eat Subway, boys and girls.
I mean, he likes his subs like he likes his girls, 6 and 12.
Wow. Holy shit. I'm stealing that joke.
Number 4, lower accidental deaths. Okay.
With the exception of
maybe.
our coworker.
That might be the one thing on there true. Less guns, less accidents.
Hold on.
All jokes aside, I actually have heard a recent statistic that there is a surprising number of kids that will get a hold of their parents' gun and accidentally kill themselves or somebody else.
Yeah, I know somebody that his sons were sitting at the kitchen table and
But that
So-
that doesn't come down to turning in guns. That comes down to teaching people how to properly
Store them.
store and handle.
I've said it before here on this podcast. I had a customer. His name was Ed, and he used to drive an ambulance. And he showed up at these houses all the time. And the common denominator was loaded guns don't kill people. Unloaded guns kill people. Because every time he'd show up, the gun was unloaded. It wasn't loaded. That's the one time. That's every fucking one. He goes, I never had one the other way around. He goes,
So-
every time I show up, the first thing out of their mouth was the gun wasn't loaded. Well, it shot him.
So
Well, first rule of gun safety.
check it.
Always assume it's loaded.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
That-
treat it
that
like
was
it's loaded.
everything, yeah.
Treat it like it's loaded, and don't point it at anything
You don't want to kill.
destroy. And
So I went to my good friend in high school, not anymore. Used to have a drinking. He was in the army. Had a drinking problem and a firearms problem. He did not have an assault rifle 15, luckily. He lived in a house in downtown Lansing, and he had some paranoia issues where he gave a woman on a dating app his phone number, and she immediately called the number, and when his phone rang, he ran across the house, drunk, got a loaded firearm, and then went to answer the phone. Yeah, he had some paranoia issues. But in that house in downtown Lansing, he had 2 negligent discharges. Yeah. He had some stuff going on. Anyway, sorry.
Number 5, strengthen law enforcement.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. ACAB, not a thing anymore. If we get rid of guns, ACAB is not a thing anymore.
define ACAB for people that don't.
Well, the traditional one is all cops are bastards. But there's been a lot of spin-offs of it. I guess we could extend that to any, even corrections officers are bastards. Or former corrections officers.
I got a special place in my soul for them. Some of them people, not all of them, some of them. Anyway,
Who, the corrections officers?
yep. I almost got killed by one.
Well,
No.
hold on. What led up to it?
Actually, more than just me almost got killed by one of them.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway,
Number 6, reduce domestic violence fatalities. Because once again, only guns cause domestic violence, huh?
Weak men resort to guns. Real men use their fists.
Yeah. Well,
I told you twice. You got 2 black eyes.
what do you tell a waitress with 2 black eyes?
Nothing should have been told twice.
Tell her-
Tell her anything. She's already been told twice.
Oh, that's rotten.
Enhance
Canceled.
mental health.
Wait, hold on. So, if the guns disappear out of my safe, I'll stop being idiotic?
You'll no longer.
How does that?
I'm a happy
enhance
camper
mental
because
health?
of my guns. I think I
Happiness
go out there and
is directly
it's
linked to
just-
money, and if you can't buy guns, you have so much more money to be happy.
I ain't no shit.
But then they have car parts.
Like,
Holy
some of
fuck.
us here might be able to afford AC.
I'll keep my guns, thanks. I'll sweat on them. I'll still lube the fucking bolt carrier with my.
Yeah, zip your pants back up.
You won't be saying that after that cup. You won't be saying much.
Hut two.
That's all you're gonna say.
All right, number 8, economic benefits. You're going to reduce health care and legal expenses.
Why? Because people get anxiety if they see a gun.
I don't know.
It's gotta be.
Well,
Or,
guns
Okay.
or the gun violence in those.
They have to treat less bullet
in
wounds.
Chirac.
There you go.
Healthcare and legal expenses is implying that the type of people that are getting hurt with gun violence can't afford insurance
Normal health
or
insurance.
attorneys.
Or to purchase it legally.
This almost sounds like right along the lines of Biden saying there are smart kids and then there's black kids. If I remember
yeah.
that quote
Oh,
correctly.
shit.
No, he said the poor kids are just as smart as white kids.
Okay, that's what it was. Yep.
Dude, over the years, all the recordings of the shit he has said, how does he get away with that?
Well, I still enjoy the tried and true. If you don't know whether to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
You ain't black.
But I love the fact that, like, and I'm sure they're just, it's media, this and that, right? So you see all these interviews. Who you voting for? Who's your guy? The black communities, the Latino communities,
No, what I like is
they're
when
all
they-
going. Well, they're changing. Whether that's
What I like is when they go out and they say,
what the hell is that? Oh.
And we're back.
Are we?
There we go.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right,
Depends on the asshole that does the editing, doesn't it? Unfortunately.
But I actually make sure the light's lit, so that's a plus.
Well, that's one of
We've
us.
done like half hour in deep or whatever, and I look over and the fucking light ain't lit, and I'm like, hey, dude. And he's like, oh, fuck.
Well, I'm just anticipating that first beer of the night.
it's gonna hit so good. All right, let's go with number 9. Support gun control measures. Donate and commit to public safety.
What about personal safety? Are they not worried about that?
No.
They
Screw your
want the outlaws or the criminals to fucking. Never mind. Go ahead.
I donate to public safety.
By carrying.
I don't know how many times that I've helped the Ione County dive team out. I've helped them get new equipment. Any of that.
I used to help them out quite a bit. Speeding tickets are fucking expensive.
Okay, I'll give you that one too. I've got plenty of that too.
All right, number 10. Promote non-violence.
Yeah.
Promote
Non-violence.
nonviolence.
Okay,
Send
now,
a therapist
so-
out with the police.
Who
So now I
here-
got to bludgeon you to death with
Who
whatever.
here-
I got to bludgeon you to death with this pink fucking
No.
thing
Well,
in here.
In the UK,
No, it's-
they
it's-
ban guns, and now there's just a bunch of stabbings.
Well, no, they ban
Yeah.
knives, too.
Oh, okay.
They want
They-
you to turn in your knives.
They found a way around that.
Here's my butter knife. You're not getting this machete. Kiss my ass.
Can you imagine getting stabbed
Okay.
to death with a butter knife? God, this is going to take a
A
while.
letter opener.
don't promote violence. Well, if the libtard motherfuckers keep their mouth shut, nobody would get violent with them.
Well, no.
There's a statistic that says 90% of the mass shootings are done by the liberal side or the Democrat.
Look
The
at
left-leaning.
look at all
Yeah,
these
left-leaning
freaking
people.
peaceful protests that turn violent.
I have my own thoughts about like the January 6th thing.
These fucking
Feds.
assholes getting into somebody's face that is different than them, a Republican or somebody that don't even give a fuck, and they're sitting there screaming at us, but they want us to change our ways because it promotes violence. These motherfuckers are sitting there screaming in my face. Yeah, you're promoting violence because I'm about to knock your fucking teeth down your throat.
Yeah, how's it okay for the verbal violence to trigger me into something?
Abuse is abuse. Violence is violence. If them motherfuckers are going to verbally
Yeah.
speak to me that way,
We got
Okay.
15 and we're on number what?
This is
Because
Ten.
I'm fully pissed off already. I think we all
well,
are.
I've been pissed off for.
I'm on board with gun control now.
I don't even think he
Both hands?
got the first one. I was fucking off
Honestly,
before I
I
was
think
pissed
we
off.
should rebrand the assault rifle to,
Armalite?
It's like the gun, but on diet version. Number 11. International image. Because we have a terrible image because we have a lot of guns.
Nobody fucks with us.
I distinctly
Yeah,
remember a Japanese general saying you could never take America because behind every blade of grass is an American with a rifle.
Well, the
image of
the
not
best
being-
part. Well, hold on. The best part is if Japan did that now, they have to contend with Washington State, Oregon, and California. Easy peasy.
So the
America has
But-
the biggest non-sanctioned military.
Hold on. But the
All
issue
the
is
fucking rednecks.
once they get through those 3 coastal states, they'll get to like Idaho and Nevada, where there's a bunch of rednecks with machine guns, specifically in Nevada.
Potato-eating rednecks.
Yeah.
The hearty,
And
starch-filled.
they're gonna have to really fight their way through that. And once they push further, they'll get to the cornbread rednecks.
Oh, yeah.
Of Kansas and Nebraska
Oh, yeah.
and
Them
Them
Texas.
motherfuckers don't even need guns. They're just gonna rip your fucking limbs off.
Children of the corn, yeah.
By the time
They're gonna shove your head into her freaking whole goddamn body into a freaking combine and shoot you out the ass and never fucking think twice about it.
Nevada with all
there
their
was someone in the field.
Nevada with all their full autos, and you dig in a little deeper. And now we got the Woodstock long range guys, and then you go back to the fucking
then-
Mississippi where we got the Glock switches.
then they hit the Rockies and you got all those hunters that are just waiting for something to pop out.
Need something different. Then you get to Michigan. If it happens to be November, you're going to be shot by a drunk hunter who thought you were a deer.
If it's brown, it's down.
I'll never forget. I was standing at a place, and I work for one company, and then the UPS guy walks in, and I'm like, "Oh, we're in our favorite season." And both the customer and the guy turns around. I'm like, "If it's brown, it's down." and the customer laughed his ass off, and the fucking UPS guy's eyes got big. And I'm just kidding, bro. Anyway,
had a neighbor that his son was a UPS worker. Got home late, wanted to quickly get out in the woods. Didn't change out of his work uniform. Dad put a 12 gauge round in his leg. Thankfully, it was buckshot.
Ooh.
Yeah. Dad saw brown and took the shot. Son's leg.
On accident.
What is it?
gun violence.
It changed my ice cream.
Every opening day, there's a ton of articles about people getting shot and killed by drunk hunters.
Don't tell your mom.
All right,
She's going to kill both of us.
We're gonna stop to the bar on the way home.
number 12, reduce gang violence.
Once
No.
again,
I
Taking
follow
legally
the law.
owned and obtained guns
No.
away.
If you just ban assault rifle 15s, the gangs won't have a gun to kill somebody with. Because gangs obey laws, didn't you know?
If the law-abiding citizens get rid of their guns and the outlaws get more of them, it's going to go the other way.
Well, what I like is the Professor's Party says we should ban guns and defund police at the same time. But if I don't have a gun at my house, if someone comes knocking at 3 in the morning, I'm going to call the police. And if they don't have the money for a third shift,
Well,
I guess
that's going to be a problem too.
Rape
yeah.
charge.
I get it. Well, I mean, I do have the dungeon for it.
Oh man, you shot me. This just ain't your days.
No. You sneak outside, you tackle them. Does anyone know you're here? No? Well, good.
Did I send you, Moody, by chance, the image of a news article of the 2 burglars that broke into a large Russian man's house? Did I send you this one? All right, I'm going to find it real quick, and then I'll read it to you guys.
Relay
You know
back.
what you
this
ought to
is
do
good.
in your fucking
All
basement?
right, let's hit number
You ought to
13.
get one of the fucking skeletons hanging from the fucking rafters by its freaking arms up against the fucking wall, and then gradually take your friends down. What the fuck is that?
No.
There's
I gotta
our
get-
dude. He ain't no room in there for all the dead hookers he's got.
and all the freezers to keep them. Because, sometimes you want that one specific hooker again.
And then have bags of lime just laying around.
I think Avenged Sevenfold said it best. I kept a heater for her thighs.
Oh yeah, I love that song.
What is it, curling iron?
So
You
number
only get 10 minutes.
Number 13, Slick's kind of mentioned, but protect vulnerable populations. Significantly protect marginalized groups who face a high risk of gun violence.
Are you kidding?
Are
you serious?
Hold on. Technically, he is marginalized. This is his month, after all.
Yeah,
The month of
I'm a huge
October.
lesbian.
Spit on that thing.
So yeah, that one really kind of.
I can't fucking believe that. Where's this guy from?
This is from United Liberty. I didn't write down the author's name, but you can kind of tell which way this article leans. You can kind of tell.
A little, yeah.
It's falling over.
It's not leaning. It is way over there.
But that was just really on the nose of who you're trying to protect there.
Yeah, it's falling over.
All right, I found it. So the article headline is "Bummed for burgling." Hopeless thieves break into home of America's most prolific gay sex predator.
Oh my god.
2 men attempt theft in gay's house, and then 2 professional thieves in the U.S. broke into a Florida man's house to rob. Unfortunately, they picked the wrong house as the owner was a giant gay rapist. The notorious gay sex predator tied the 2 men up, aged 54 and 36, and raped them for 5 days. A neighbor heard the men's cries and called police. The consequences left them, the thieves, physically and emotionally damaged. Somebody commented on this post and said the thieves had no idea breaking into houses was such a pain in the ass.
Man,
let me show you a picture.
So, okay.
Dude, I am.
Hold on.
That is
So,
got to be the funniest thing I'll hear all day.
There's the picture of that gentleman.
Dude, he is huge.
Yeah, he's
after
a bear.
that, do you send the two to prison? Or do you just say, I think you've had enough?
Just imagine being the neighbor, hearing a 54-year-old man crying from your large neighbor's house.
Hold on. Imagine being the judge in that trial. It's like, no, you're lubed up for prison. Have fun. At least it won't hurt anymore.
I would like to note, though,
you got a prison preview.
Here in America, they can actually sue you, or they could sue him for emotional damage.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, even though they broke and entered, he could still be prosecuted for...
If someone breaks into your house, trips over your coffee table, and breaks a leg, they can sue you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is just fucking bonkers.
I've already been on record as saying I'd be like the worst fucking dirtiest cop. I'd go in there and go, your neighbors just called in a complaint for noise. Just gag them and keep going. Fuck those guys, and I'd leave.
Well,
literally.
So if someone breaks into your house, as long as they don't have a story to tell at the end of it, then
dead man tell
you don't have
tales.
any. You don't have any trouble on your hands. Besides, someone was in your house that wasn't supposed to be, and they're not around anymore.
Then the parents,
you put a knife in their hand and a bullet hole in their face.
Well, then their family gets on TV and they were so
He was
nice.
such a sweet guy.
He was about to go to college. Was he though? Well, they always show.
But they'll never go prove it. They're gonna go.
Well, they always show pictures of like the high school graduation.
Yeah.
Not the social media profile where he's
got a gun sitting here like this
to the camera.
With a big old freaking blunt in their damn mouth.
Gang signs. West Michigan bitches.
I've seen a few good videos recently of some accidental discharges into people's bodies.
No. Negligent discharge.
Yeah,
I watched those videos too.
How about that one guy in the bathroom? Did you see that one? Moody showed us that one.
Oh yeah. Or there's a guy that pulls a AR pistol out of his pants and then gets out and pulls a trigger and puts it right through his thigh. Ooh.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that the first round you shoot when you're pulling a gun is going straight to the floor.
Oh, God.
Well, that chick was messing with her freaking boyfriend's gun in the fucking car and went like this and shot him in the head right in the freaking back of his
I
one.
remember that.
She was waving it all over the place. Boom! And she's like, oh my
you
God.
just seen the gush of blood out the freaking entrance wound where it's like, oh fuck, he's fucked.
So
I seen it, and then I watched it like 10 more times.
Yeah.
on that note,
I keep seeing videos from the Middle East where they're like trying to cut someone's hand off for stealing, but they use a really dull knife.
Whack.
Going to town at it. It's like, dude,
I watched one yesterday.
There again,
Guy
I
up
watched it
against
10
a
times.
concrete wall and stuck bricks to the wall with his head freaking taped to the freaking bricks. Guy was standing behind with a 12-pound sledgehammer. As soon as he got done talking, what?
I saw one with a Middle Eastern guy that was caught stealing, so a guy put a round through his hand, kind of ran away. They met back up, and he waits for him to put his hand out and puts another round in his other hand. Well, there you go.
I'm going to hang you by these holes.
I was very fortunate to grow up in an era before the internet was filtered. And so I grew up with things like Paint Olympics and
Rotten.com.
oh yeah, happypuppies.net. The happiest puppies in the world.
Lemonparty.org.
Not what you think
I've
it
never-
is. Not what you think it
It's
is.
not about perky boobies?
It's definitely about something in that sort of direction. I wouldn't say perky, but
Lemonparty.org. Meatspin.com.
but
Dude, I'm learning a lot right now.
These are sites.
Let me write these
if they're
down.
still up, don't go there.
yeah. So on the note of unfiltered internet, I've got another website for you to look up on somebody's phone.
Somebody else's.
We already looked. I looked up dog porn on Amy's
where's
phone.
Amy?
Well aware.
One of
And
those.
Not my fault.
I gave her a heads up to hide her phone earlier.
Oh.
But when you get a hold of it later, there's a website called eFucked, spelled EFUKT.
UKT.
Yep.
I've heard of it. I've never.
It is so entertaining. It is It is everything that
Carter, stop.
he's like notes.
Your mom is gonna fucking kill us.
That's EF.
It is all of the porn that you would never beat off to, and if you do, you're probably ashamed of yourself. And I have a lot of shame.
You have no idea how low I can go.
Dog porn?
So some,
No.
You're looking it up. Now I want to see.
some of my favorite videos from this website, there was
Jesus
trolling wannabe porn stars.
Jesus fucking
What?
Christ.
Let me
wannabe
see.
porn
Now I
stars.
want to see.
No, Carter.
Hang
no,
on.
Carter.
It plays a song. You
Spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby.
Slicks onto one. What was it?
So it is called Trolling of Wannabe Porn Stars. Women,
So they're willing to do anything.
women who are aspiring to get into porn, and it's
No,
a
you don't.
compilation of a bunch of women, and this guy just brutally makes fun of them.
Oh.
It is hilarious.
Oh, like the
I've seen a
casting
bunch of
couch
bathroom
thing.
Yes.
casting couches.
Yup.
So
Perverts.
I was watching the video. It's a guy that does like frame alignments for semis, but he said something.
That it with Brendan?
Yeah, I love that guy. He said
Truck
something on a little
mechanic.
short he had earlier. It was this thing had a squeak louder than the spring in a casting couch.
I mean, I don't know what that is.
Well, I don't know. I know what a casting couch is. I don't know who this. What is it? Ron?
Jeremy.
Jeremy?
Yeah, that's what your ex was.
Shut up.
Yeah, I've never.
That's mine.
Oh,
Well,
God.
I keep seeing these videos, man, of like this really successful guy. He's he was like an astronaut.
And a doctor, and a
yeah,
teacher.
yeah.
I think he was a police officer. He was in the military at one point too. His mom must be proud.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
he's had a lot
I'm
of
sure.
careers in his day.
I'm sure his dad is.
It's weird though. I've never seen him with hair.
Yeah, no, he's
If you're not in bed by midnight, come home.
Mr. Clean.
But you don't know who that is, Carter. No, you don't know who we're talking about, which is good.
Well, I'm sure he's seen him. He doesn't know what we're talking about, but I'm sure he's seen him. Okay, we still haven't got over this fucking.
Two more. Focus on root cause allows us to focus on addressing the real issues behind violence, such as poverty and lack of education.
I'd agree with that.
There's some takeaway to that, but not gun violence.
Again, I think this is them jumping to
Well-
conclusions about people that can't afford health providers and attorneys.
Well, the poverty
Right.
part is probably because when you're on welfare, you actually get more money for not having a husband in the house. So if the government will pay you to be single and not have a job, why would you ever go get a job?
Once again,
Well-
government intrusion.
You say that, but once again, I think a lot of the time it's not voluntary that there is not a paternal figure in the household.
Sometimes not. However, there is a way to partially financially lock a father into the household that tie avoids marriage.
I'm good.
What is it? The three rules for staying out of poverty is don't have kids out of wedlock.
Don't have wedlock.
No, get married and finish high school. Don't have kids out of wedlock, and I think get married is like the third one.
Don't get into cars or guns.
Oh yeah,
That's rule number 4. I'm sure of
Oh
that.
shit!
we're gonna add that one.
We are totally on
I've
that.
spent more money on cars and guns than I
Yeah,
ever
you know what?
have
Maybe
on
you're
my
right.
wife.
Maybe you shouldn't own guns.
You take her out way more than me and Amy
Yeah,
ever
but-
go out.
You got to remember, at one point in my life, I had 21
Which is funny because
trucks.
I actually get laid plenty.
Now you only have 20.
I had a little bit less than that, but
19.
But real quick, we'll come right back to that. I know you said something about Sneaky wanting a car.
At some point. Now my other kid needs one because right now his is broke down in Moody's front yard.
Where's he at, matter of fact?
I mean, Trigger, you
Oh,
have
where is
a
it?
lot of vehicles in your lot, from what I have heard. I haven't seen, but I've heard. Why not,
Parts and pieces.
Why not buy a vehicle? It might not be a bad option. It might be a relatively cheap option, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what you've got in your lot. I mean, that
but
might-
him to buy one.
You
off
want me to
me?
buy one of
Wait,
his?
wait.
They're all
No,
they're
he's
all
into
the
Fords.
wrong-
There's no
they're all
fucking
the
way.
wrong.
I didn't say you
So-
had to be into Fords. You're, I mean, Sneaky
So,
and
what I've
they
looked
could be into
into
Ford.
is what I've looked into is swapping the body from, say, a dent side onto a modern truck, so you can have all the modern amenities with the look of a dent side.
There's a guy that just did a crew cab short box 75 dent side on a 2012 6.7 1 ton.
I'll do you one better. Find a burnt out EV and do a engine swap on it.
Someone put
LS swap.
You're done.
LS swap.
Turn an EV into a gasser.
Didn't someone? Yeah, someone put a twin turbo diesel in a Tesla.
I have seen that. Yep.
And it was just fucking rolling coal.
But it's an EV, right?
Yeah.
It's got the body of an EV, so it's an EV.
Well, hold on.
You park in the premium spots. You plug it into nothing.
Well, hold on.
Twin
If you
turbo
live,
a freaking LS and put it in a Prius.
Yeah.
someone put a Hayabusa in the Prius, and that thing.
No,
was
that
ripping.
was a smart car.
Well, I mean,
For 2 car.
you
They
can
put a
plug it in
Prius
still.
And it was instantly 10
What
times
was it?
faster.
A 4BT? Someone put it in a Prius, and it was rolling coal out the hood vent.
Oh, I think there was one of those too.
But if someone in London could afford to live somehow, and they put an LS into a Tesla, could they drive into the ultra low emission zone as an EV?
They're only looking for pictures of license plates.
And not
And they'll look it up and see that it's a Tesla.
It's titled as a Tesla e-car.
They can look it up and see, Tesla doesn't freaking...
Except they
Manufacturer.
do yearly inspections on all of their cars.
Okay, so you have a backup
Like
Tesla.
California does, don't they?
Emissions and everything.
So you buy it.
But if it's a Tesla, they're exempt. I think those are exempt. An EV is exempt.
If they are, then...
What's the point of spending more...
I don't know, maybe to look if you've turned your exhaust sounding speaker up a little bit.
Right. I got a Roush speaker.
But I think we have one more point. I'm sorry to change courses here.
We're kind of
No,
derailing this train.
This is how we roll.
Yeah, this is
last
normal
one
day.
for 15 reasons every American should give up their guns immediately. Encourage other safety measures. People might focus on improving home safety and community programs.
Ah, yes, home safety without firearms.
So the whole list is basically community safety. I'm sorry. I'm worried. I'm going to concentrate first on my home and family.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
You have children. You have children. You have children.
Child.
Singular.
Child.
His are all in a sock.
Child. And
Yeah.
His are in the shower.
oh God, if that starts crying. Wow, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? My castle is
I understand
first.
Yep.
the whole fucking thing. I get everything that he said, except for the fact that I call bullshit on all of it, not because of that, but just because of how ridiculous this fucking moron that wrote all that shit out or said all this shit. If he completely believes any of this bullshit, the motherfucker's just as dumb as Biden.
Well, hold on. It's probably the same guy that fired the AR who was talking about getting PTSD.
And maybe we should hit on that at some point
Do you remember
tonight.
the video a long time ago about people trying to ban ARs, and then to show how dangerous an AR was, they fired a shotgun at a watermelon?
Yeah.
I have an AR-12. I mean, that might be the definition of a.
Well, hold on. These bands always talk about AR-14s and AR-15s, but they don't talk about AR-10s, which looks just like
It's 5 less ARs. That seems a lot safer to me.
Which is weird, because,
No, it seems way safer. It's 5 less. Anyway, so the 15 recap. Give us a recap.
All right. Number 1, reduce gun violence. 2, decrease suicide rates. 3, improve public safety. 4, lower accidental deaths. 5, strengthen law enforcement. 6, reduce domestic violence fatalities. 7, enhance mental health. 8, economic benefits. 9, support gun control measures. 10, promote non-violence. 11, international image. 12, reduce gang violence. 13, protect vulnerable populations. 14, focus on root causes. And 15, encourage other safety measures.
Honestly, hearing it all back to back, maybe I do agree.
Why don't we try it in just California? And to make sure we can't cross-contaminate, we'll just build a giant border wall between California and the rest of the country.
But it has to continue across. It has to continue across that Mexican border.
Well, yeah.
Like,
we gotta stop cross-contamination.
yeah.
So we'll do that, a really tall border wall, and we'll test it out for, let's give it a good time frame, 20 years. And we won't send any help because we want to see how this works without outside influence.
And as a control, we could also border off Texas to see how that works and see who thrives and who.
Yeah, with the
falls
opposite
apart.
reaction, because everybody in Texas carries a fucking gun.
Right. Yeah.
Well, not in Austin. Isn't Austin the one that's?
Yeah. There's
Austin is California light.
I think their city
2.0.
Their city slogan is keeping it weird, and I've been in Austin numerous times, and boy, do they keep it weird.
We can tell
I think
from that
Moody's
shirt.
jealous.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Your shirt kind of screams that.
Speaking of Austin, one time I was in a bar. There was actually a shooting right outside of the bar I was in, and
At
Guns are
the time you were in it?
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, even in Texas, not all.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Well, on one hand, we also know what the Army used, what their slogan was: "Don't ask, don't tell."
I did a lot of not telling.
Jesus. I've got screenshots and notes
There
and
was
stuff.
sorry, I lost that train of thought.
I know I made you flustered, didn't I?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's the shirt.
I saw a comment from someone earlier that was basically when he's in California, he's called a conservative, and when he's in Texas, he's called a liberal. What a weird fucking place to be. Too liberal for Texas, too conservative for California.
Welcome to Michigan.
Welcome to normal.
Yeah, right. Do we?
Well, what are we at?
We're at 27, so we're still shy of an hour. Once we patch it together, once my producer patches it together.
What's that worthless fuck? Patches it together.
I have this notepad in my phone that when I hear things or think of things, I just key it in here. Should we go over that?
Might as well.
Okay. High hopes and low expectations. Certain instances where we have the high hopes, low expectations for our livelihoods, our children. What are your high hopes that? What are your high hopes that your children exercise but you don't expect much?
I don't expect them to ever own their own houses.
Yeah, this is a
With
bit
the
of a
going-
loaded question because we're
with the
we're
going
looking for high
market,
hopes.
I don't expect, and we've discussed this. My kids will never be able to afford their own house. I don't give a shit if they make the same amount as I make. They will never be able to afford their own houses because you talked about it in 10 years. Okay, in 10 years, my son will be 30 years old. Okay, at that point, a standard fucking mortgage is, what do we figure, $500,000 with a $1,900 a month house payment or house payment.
It'll be $2,500 with taxes and
by-
insurance because taxes are not going to go down.
What do we say, 200 or 2050 or something? Your mortgage payment is going to be $9,100 a month with a $1.9 million house, and that's going to be what a $200,000 house is currently. Is in 30 years.
280 is the average house
or
in
20
Michigan. 450 is the average house in America.
In
400.
25 years, your average $200,000 house now will be $1.9 million with a $9,100 a month house payment. My children would never own a house.
I mean, if you want me to be honest, I never thought I would own a house. And
Well,
I-
technically, it's not a house.
Well, you're right. I'm owning a condo, so it is a association.
I got it.
But in today's society, economically, I never thought I would have the capability of owning a house. I mean, it is hard to save while you rent.
Yeah.
Saving enough to be able to afford a down payment. Thank God for the VA, by the way. is the only reason I'm able to get a house, because I don't have to put a down payment down. 0 down, I'm able to buy a house. I can't imagine trying to save $5,000, $10,000 and still have enough discretionary to be able to have an emergency, car breakdown, furnace blow up, medical. I mean, people aren't healthy forever.
Now, here with that, you use the VA, and
Yep.
by all means, it's there. It's a government program for veterans. I applaud that. With that being said, do you also get a first-time homebuyer tax credit?
I believe so. I also get a reduction on my APR. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
where it stands
Awesome.
right now, the market's looking at anywhere between 8.5 and 9, from what I understand, for average if you have a good credit score. I got a 6.75.
Now, do you get, through the VA and everything, do you get the home efficiency credits and all that?
Yep.
Awesome.
So,
I'm just asking.
well,
really,
and I went through a veteran-specific organization to get my home loan.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I guess it is a big organization. I have nothing but good things to say about them. I probably shouldn't point them out specifically, but they have done nothing but good things for me. They've been very, meticulous about stepping me through the process. But I mean, even at that, I make decent money. I'm not, hurting for change per se,
Fucking
but
bitching about hours like Ty does. Yeah, I gotta do more than 30 hours.
He's not bitching about the
I'm
hours,
all
he's
for
bitching about
making-
having to do 3 hours worth of work in a week.
I'm all for making 60-hour paychecks for 30 hours of work.
there was one point I was actually looking at being an electrician, and I started with a company to be an electrician. Then I saw truckers, and I was like, "Holy shit, they don't do anything."
That's me.
Correct.
So, since you're getting a new home, the American Home Shield warranty or the Consumers Energy programs that they have for the insurance, I just asked one of our local realtors here in town. I said, "Quick weird question. We're in the middle of a podcast. Is American Home Shield warranty worth shit?" Whether he answers me or not, and I don't know if that works for condo. I'm sure it does, but if you can get that, and I know it's not free,
So,
but it'll cover things like, because a water heater's not cheap, a furnace is not cheap, air conditioner unit's
the
not cheap.
insurance that I pay for, I can max out the insurance, and it is still dirt cheap.
Well-
Why? Because it is a condo, and everything exterior is covered.
Can't you just go after the previous owner if something breaks within the first year?
I don't think that would go over well.
Oh, that's right, the old man's.
I am buying it through a family member, and I know what I'm getting myself into.
Right.
So
I've always wondered if this American Home Shield, because I see it all over, and I know if I were to go out and buy a house right now, they usually throw in a 1-year warranty with it, and it's usually through that company. I'm just curious.
it never hurts to look at something. I mean, if there's an option, I'm more than willing to look at it.
Now,
I mean, obviously, being a first-time home buyer, I'm very new to this whole new atmosphere of what it takes to own a house. I didn't realize how much went into property taxes. I thought the property taxes would be significantly cheaper being in a condo. That was a load of horse.
Hold on. You're in a rather wealthy side of town.
This is true. Yep.
That's part of your problem.
Yep. And I mean, if you want me to be honest, it is much better than where I'm currently living.
Well, that's not fucking difficult.
I would rather take drunken college students over active shooter on a regular basis any day.
Especially with
Why not both?
young family. Young family.
Because where I'm living now, there is no college students.
We're almost on break. And, back to the old light thing. DC10 is the code for 10% off.
DC10?
DC10, if anybody wants one. Anyway, because the sale's coming up, and I'm going to try to throw that on top of
Okay.
if they can make it. Other things in here, the Home Shield warranty. Michigan turnaround lane hogs. Do you guys have a lot of Michigan turnarounds around Lansing? We have them
There's a
around
couple.
Grand Rapids.
There's a couple.
So when somebody gets over to that left to do a Michigan turnaround, people veer to the right before they take that left. So I call that a Michigan turnaround lane hog.
I've always known it as a Dutch turnaround, or a Dutch left.
I always call it a Chinese fire drill.
That's not a Chinese fire drill.
Chinese
what
fire
Chinese
drill
fire
is
drill?
where
I know
you
what
run
it is.
around the car.
It's still stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, you still didn't answer the
Chinese
question.
fire drill. You stop at a stoplight, everybody gets out of the car and runs around the fucking car.
But that's not a Michigan turnaround.
No, it's still just as stupid.
It is stupid. I actually worked with the guy that designed that. He started on 8 Mile in Detroit, and what was his last name? Anyway, he helped us. I worked with him for a whole day. I learned a lot that day. Anyway, but I just got in a semi, I have a serious fucking hatred for the people that get over to that left to make that Michigan turnaround, but they veer back out a little to the right back into that lane. Now, I got to slam on the brakes.
No, they're doing that Scandinavian flick into a stop.
Yeah, they're not. They're not.
But
that pisses me off. I'm sorry, that was just one of them.
Driving professionally, how often do you find that people don't know you're right, part-time professional, but
this shit happens to me every day, especially around Broadmoor.
How often do you find that people don't know where their vehicle is on the road, just in general?
Oh yeah.
Every time he looks out the windshield and looks at his truck,
they think,
what is this weird line down the middle of the road?
Every time I start my truck now, ever since I got the new rig, I have to reach up and hit that lane departure warning button every time. That sucks to turn that shit off. Anyway,
he come back to the shop and wanted those freaking those bumper sticks to see where his bumper was. I don't want to call them by their name, but.
I see those in the Myers over here.
Another one that I ran into was I went to a place that makes coffee, like the energy can, the coffee can drinks.
Do you want to do that motion again?
This one? Would you like to get closer?
No, but you can do it with a pink coffee sippy.
What are you doing in Muskegon?
No, it's in Kent Hood.
Oh,
different one. They have a trailer, a dump trailer, a fifth wheel or gooseneck dump trailer outside with the used coffee grounds. And the woman, the Latina woman,
fucking place.
It's Prospectors.
Oh, I know.
I'm sure it's great. They moved to a new location recently.
I was in there one day. They had a bin, open air, in the warehouse of grounds, but somebody had put like the remnants of gumbo on top of it, and it had been there for a while. It smelled like fucking a compost heap inside the building where they make cold brew coffee.
They have a dump trailer outside full of the used coffee grounds, and the woman tells me that a guy that owns a cemetery comes and gets it. Why is a guy that owns a cemetery coming to get used coffee grounds?
To make the corpses not smell as bad.
Is he not burying them all and covering them in coffee? I don't. Or does he lay like a layer of that on top of them? I'm asking.
I was going to say, actually,
she told me that, and I'm like, okay. I even took a picture of the trailer.
Feeding the grass.
Believe it or not,
does it feed the grass?
It could be.
What I was going to ask you is, where is this at, and can we just go get coffee grounds? Because believe it or not, I had coffee grounds in my garden.
It's good for it.
Yes.
Something else that's really good for it is ash and eggshells.
There's also
there's the trailer. It's just a gooseneck dump trailer, right?
No,
there's also a local cemetery that's a open air cemetery.
It's a
what
natural.
The hell does that mean?
It's a body farm.
Yep.
You know, I've talked about body farms. They'll bury your body in a pile of dirt, and 6 weeks later you can go back and they'll scoop out the area where you were, put it in a jar, and there's what you take home as your loved one.
The gobbledygook.
What about the bones?
They'll grind that up just like they do. They'll put it back in with the earth.
Yeah,
it's towards the north end of Grand Rapids area.
I'm sorry, but that's...
It's a fertilizer.
Is it? Okay.
And apparently it keeps your plant safe from pathogenic microbes.
Okay, that makes sense with bodies.
Make a foliar spray. Use coffee grounds to protect your plants from slugs and snails.
Also makes sense.
Use it as mulch.
Okay.
My wife,
she just said a guy that owns a cemetery comes and gets it, and I'm like, wait a minute.
She takes it out of the coffee pot, scrapes it out of the filter, lets it dry, puts it in a jar, and then throughout the year she'll sprinkle it on there. Same way we save all our eggshells, dry them out, crush them down, put them in a jar. We save them, we sprinkle them around.
So
when I used to cut my own hair, I would keep my own hair, put that in the garden. You want to know why that one? That one keeps small animals out because they smell the human.
Coffee grounds release nitrogen as they decompose.
I'm just saying it. I
just shaved my whole chest. I got enough fucking hair.
Coffee grounds, when it decomposes, releases nitrogen, which plants
This
like.
fertilizer.
Okay.
I have nitrogen.
He
buckets of
must
nitrogen
spread it
pellets.
all over his cemetery, I guess.
Probably helps make the
How
grass
mu-
nice and green.
Let me ask you, how expensive is the plots in that cemetery? Because I guarantee you that raises the plot value.
Even though he's getting it
What?
potentially for free.
Yeah.
If
How does it raise the plot value?
If it looks
If
real
you-
nice.
If you have a really nice looking cemetery, if the grass is real full and thick, nice and green, it's going to be more expensive because you're paying for a nicer, more luxurious
Location,
plot.
location, location.
Location.
Even after death.
Yep.
Dude.
I mean, let me ask you
or-
this: if you had to get buried, would you want to get buried in a plot that has yellow grass, dry, hard clay, might hurt to walk on barefoot?
I have a weird, cemetery thing, right? I already go to cemeteries all the time just for fun.
Right.
My family used to own one, and I know and it was the dirtiest, gnarliest cemetery in town. It's right over here. And Orson E. Co. used to own a dealership on 28th Street. Put up a huge fight. Why? Because I'm telling you, the guy buried people on top of each other. He was dirty and he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
So I have a weird thing with cemeteries. I might not be the right guy to ask,
Okay.
but
I should open
I have my own cemetery picked out. It's where my mom's buried, because it is a nicer one.
Right.
Like you
I was
said.
going to say, like,
She
I
did a
guess,
lot of
think
research
about your
and-
parents. Would you want to bury your parents in a cemetery that looked like it has been kept up by?
Taken care of.
Right. I mean, if you find one that doesn't have any grass, do you really want to put your parents in something that they have never been? They never take care of it.
I get it. You're right. That's kind of. I want to be.
You're
That brings up another topic. So all of a sudden now in the news is the tax breaks you get from burying yourself on your own property, or burying your loved ones. All of a sudden you pay no more taxes on it.
Just a chunk. But also that when you sell it, it has to be disclosed that there's people buried on the property. But you can also go out and that chunk of property that is now deemed a family cemetery, you don't pay taxes on.
Right.
But it's also not the new homeowners. It is nobody's anymore. It could be out in the middle of a field and have a 20-foot square that they can't do a motherfucking thing with out in the middle of this field.
Basically, what you're saying is the trouble isn't worth the.
Well, back on the back corner of my property, I was going to put, when me and the wife were in good standings,
You put her.
that was going to be our family cemetery. She wanted to be buried on the property? Fine, fuck it, I'll be buried on the property.
She's gonna bury you soon.
Maybe I should open a funeral company. It's the Wood Chipper Funeral Company. And we just tell us where you want to go. We'll haul a wood chipper there.
Make sure the body's frozen first. I'm frozen solid. It chips and spews a lot nicer.
Girls.
No. If we're going to some pedophile island like Disney World, it's going to be juicy.
Oh yeah.
It's going to sit in a hot bag.
It's
in the
gonna
bed
look
of a
like the
pickup.
fire hose at one of those riots.
Then you need to take it
It's gonna
to
be-
SeaWorld and spray it in with the sharks.
It's going to be swollen of the heat and just stinky. We're going to have to leave the bag closed
Oh, dude.
to chuck it into the wood chipper. But that's a Disney problem because as soon as that body's through, I'm fucking booking it.
I wish, and maybe I can work it out yet tonight. But there's a cemetery right close by at the back of that cemetery, at the back of that prison, that we've been sneaking off to. It's pretty cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. The neighbors are having a situation, but maybe if we could steal both side by sides, cruise over there.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Anyway, we gotta go to break. You two send us off once again.
Here's those that wish as well.
All the rest can go to hell.
All right.
See ya.